Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of the Indulge podcast. Today, we have with us Preeti Banerjee, an Odissi dancer and the director of cultural events at Mayday The Stage, Bengaluru. Preeti, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Preeti, Margari Festival is back in Bengaluru. Last time was the first time that Mayday brought this festival to Bengaluru. This year, what can the audience expect from the Margari Festival?
So Alvin, last year we did only for 1 week.
Right.
There were only a few performances that we did. And this year it's for 1 month. December 15th to Jan 13th is what we are doing. We planned it only for 15 days.
Okay.
But then we got very good response and very good artist lineup and very good artists, applied to perform for this, and we extended for it for 1 month.
Wow.
So we had to extend, and that's how it is. So last year it was only Bangalore artists and only group performances.
Right.
This time we are doing solo, duet, group, and we are the artists are not only from Bangalore. Artists are coming from Chennai, Hyderabad, Pune, Delhi, even from the US, UK. So yes, so that's the different thing. The range of artists, and we have spread. Like basically, it was the last year was only an experiment. Let's see how it goes, how the moment the entire thing goes well, and we really got good. Really received very good reviews and everything. So this time we had to make it a little bigger. And as promised last year, I had promised that I'll do it for 1 month next
Right.
year. So keeping my promise.
Lovely. So you mentioned that it was supposed to be a 15-day event, and then now it's become a 1 month event, and a lot more artists would be performing at
Yes.
this season of Margari Festival in Bangalore. So how were these artists selected?
So most of the artists, they applied.
Right.
Okay. Some of the artists we invited, but most of the artists, they applied, and we asked them specifically to send their videos.
Right.
So we have a programming committee, we have senior dancers, and we all sat together and we gave the slot and the performances and everything
Right.
on the basis of that, on the basis of the performance and the experience.
Right.
So this year, the biggest thing that we did is we opened few slots, not
Right.
too many, but few slots, weekend slots for dancers who have just finished their Arangetrams,
Okay.
their Ranga Pravesh, because they want to perform, they want stage, solo performances. So we said, okay, let's not have only established dancers, who are already performing. Let's give space, give the stage to the upcoming, let's call them upcoming dancers, and let's give them the stage to them. And that was also selected on the basis of the videos and everything that they sent,
Right.
their bios and the videos. And we also we need to have that confidence that these people can pull up the artist and the audience and hold it. So on the basis of what they sent, the profile and their videos, on the basis of that, everybody was selected. Yes.
So in total, how many applications did you guys receive?
I received 400 applications.
Wow. And out of those, you had to select how many?
As I said, I had to select only for 15 days,
Yes.
but this time 90 people are performing. There are 90 performances, and including solo, group, duet, I think close to 150 people will be doing, the dancers will be on the stage at Mayday. But as a whole, there are 90 performances which lined up.
Wow. So in a festival like this, so you mentioned like in the beginning that it was supposed to be a 15 day festival, and then it became a 1 month festival. So how difficult was for you to schedule everything, given that it became you had to add more performances because the days got increased?
So, see, the idea was we wanted to go slowly. Okay, I wanted to do 1 month. Fortunately, it is happening 1 month. Now, we were very adamant that we'll do 15 days only.
Okay.
As I said, I received 400 applications. Trust me, Alvin, this 400 applications, There were so many people. They're good dancers actually, but I had to give it the slot to the little better, like to them.
Definitely.
And then that slot is, I still have that slot ready for next year,
Right.
who I want to give performances. So I had to add, the scheduling part was, last year we did only one performance one day.
Right.
This year on weekdays we are doing minimum two to three performances.
Right.
Because considering Bangalore and considering it's not Chennai that everybody knows that performance is happening every day.
Right.
We are trying to do that. We are trying to bring that culture here, that every day there is performance. So, but we also have to consider that this is Bangalore. Everybody's working.
Definitely.
So we have kept everything on the weekdays, like little later when people finishes their office, like around 7 or 6 o'clock, like that.
Right.
Those days, Mondays, Tuesdays, and all that. Thursday and Friday we still get a lot of crowd at Mayday, but challenges Mondays and Tuesdays. So we are trying to change that. So we are putting 2 performances, 3 performances on weekdays.
Right.
Weekend is the slot where we start performance from 3 o'clock.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, we are doing minimum 4 performances on weekday from 3 o'clock. Because Mayday has a culture that we do performance in the morning, we do performance in the afternoon, we do performance in the evening.
Right.
We have that. So most of the people who have performed, who know Mayday or audiences, they know that Mayday does shows in the morning, afternoon, and in the evening. So it's so that I had in my mind.
Okay.
So that was not difficult for me to put, performance, because that culture is there in Mayday. So yeah, that was there. So like if I start at 3 o'clock, I know audience will come. I know that. So I was confident about that, because I think we made it like that. We encouraged the artists, do your performance in the morning, do your performance in the afternoon. And those artists who have done, they have given us the confidence, and they trusted us. They did shows and everything, and that's how I also got the confidence. Okay, let me also do this at 3 o'clock or in the evening on weekdays.
Right.
So yeah, that's how we scheduled it.
Lovely. So, when one thinks about Margari, the first thing that comes to mind is Chennai. So,
Yes.
But do you think there's an audience for Margari Festival here in Bengaluru as well?
Yes, there is. I'll tell you, I received once when when I put out the application that, we are taking in, we are doing this festival. Anyway, people, when we did it for 1 week last year, I had already received a lot of calls and, messages that, are you doing this year as well?
Right.
I said, I'm doing it. Don't worry. I'm doing this. After that, there were like a couple of senior dancers who called me and he said, good, you're doing this in Bangalore.
Okay.
I mean, and there will be audience, and we need this thing. Because see, as I said, I think earlier when we were speaking, that time also you said, it's not that in Bangalore we don't have performances during the season. It's a season.
Right.
We have performance everywhere.
Right.
But the idea was to bring the entire force to one place,
Right.
to make that, that force, that everybody knows that this thing is happening. It's not bits and pieces, it's one together, like
Right.
everything. So I believe, yes, there is audience here. And since this is the second year, people are still thinking, where should we go? Should we go to Chennai, or should we go
Right.
in Bangalore?
Right.
So let's have some Bangalore. I have even some people are like, we'll see some, okay, this performance is not happening in Chennai. This particular dancer is not performing in Chennai. So we are going to watch her performance in Bangalore.
Okay.
Okay. So that is also there. So that is also happening. So I will not say the audience is not there. Definitely, the only thing is the audience, it's just that they are getting to the, used to the idea. They don't have to go to Chennai all the way. They can watch the performance here in their own city.
Right.
So that is what the whole idea was when we started it last year. So yes, we are trying to do that. We are trying to put it out to the audience and to the performers that you can perform here as well. You don't have to, juggle. You can perform in Chennai also, but you can perform here also.
Right. So, what were some of the challenges that you came across while, working on this edition of Margari Festival?
First challenge was to say, sorry, your profile got rejected. I feel very bad for that. I feel really bad for that. But then there's always next year.
Definitely.
The biggest challenge, as in for me, was, there were a lot of applications who are not from Bangalore.
Okay.
I received a lot of applications who are not in Bangalore.
Right.
So to schedule them in such a way that they get audience in such a, even if they're performing on a weekday, I need to give them a slot where the audience will come.
Correct.
7:30 or 8 o'clock is the where audience I know will come, even if it is Bangalore traffic. So that was one of my biggest challenge. They are good dancers, and I want to give them slot. So for me, I have to sit and think, where should I put this person? Okay. Also, the second challenge is always for an artist, for classical dancers, which is very sad, is selling tickets.
Definitely.
So in May Day, we generally don't do free shows.
Right.
Very rare, unless it's an annual day, right? All the shows are ticketed shows. So we made sure that this festival will also be ticketed show.
No.
Now, selling tickets for a classical dancer is the biggest challenge. So we understand that challenge, and we are trying. That is one of the biggest challenge that I think we face. It's not just because of the season. It's like all over the year. Like
Right.
whenever you perform, we do last year series in May Day, which is only for the young dancers. When they come and perform on a Thursday or a Friday, for them also it's a challenge,
Definitely.
right? Because I think the people are very used to watching free shows. This is the hard reality and truth that we all know. But when it comes to classical dance or classical music, we have the challenge, right? So, but then it should not come for free also, right? I mean, we as artists, we are paying so much. We are to bring up that art form, So why should you watch it, do it for free?
Definitely.
First of all, and as an organizer, something that I will never encourage, that don't do free show, do a ticketed show. Even if you sell 5 tickets, you're selling something, your income, you're making money out of it. So don't do that. So yes, so ticket selling is always a challenge, and scheduling them was the challenge for me. So these two scheduling challenges, it's done, over, but ticket sales, so anyway, it'll happen. It'll always be there. Yes.
So, since this edition is bigger than the previous one, how many art forms or how many dance forms can we expect?
We have Bharatanatyam, definitely.
Yes.
Odissi. We have Kathak. We have Kuchipudi.
Right.
Mohiniyattam. So these are there.
Right.
Manipuri is not there. Kshatriya is not there. Apart from that, Kathakali is also not there. Apart from that, I think all the art forms are there.
Right.
So yes, last year it was limited. It was not like all the dance form, but this year, but last year also, I think I tried. We had Kathak, we had Bharatanatyam, we had Bharatanatyam, Kuchipudi, and Odissi.
Wow.
This year also same thing. Mohiniyattam is added. Yes.
And more dancers.
More dances, and I'm hoping that next year maybe I'll have Manipuri, Kshatriya, and Kathakali also come in. But then again, the challenge is, it's not very easy, because these art forms are, still not there in south of India, except Kathakali. Like Kathakali is there, but then they have their own challenge, right? Manipuri, and it's such a beautiful dance form. Kshatriya is such a beautiful dance from Northeast. So, but we don't have the audience for it. It's little sad, but then we all are working. As an organizer, I think that's the responsibility we have, and we all are working towards it. So I hope next year I can invite few of them and bring them audience. Definitely. For me, audience is important.
Absolutely. So you yourself are a Odissi dancer. So tell us about how your journey as a Odissi dancer began.
My journey is little funny actually. So I started learning dance at a very old age. Like normally everybody starts with a younger age, right? From kids. I started learning when I was in first year in my college
Okay.
because my father was in army, so
Right.
we used to travel a lot, getting posted in all borders and everything. So yeah, so my mother is from theatre background,
Okay. Lovely.
so she always wanted me to go into art and culture and being an artist. So she always pushed me to that.
Right.
So when finally we settled down in, I'm a Bengali, so when we finally settled down in Kolkata, my mother made sure that no matter how old you are, you have to go and join. And I used to love dancing, so
Right.
I said, okay, fine, let's go. And then she actually asked me which classical dance form you want to learn. Because in Kolkata, you have all the classical dance form.
Right.
And there's good audience, good teachers and everything. Somehow, I don't know why, it just came to me, I want to learn Odissi.
Okay.
And I just went, walked in, and I just started learning Odissi. I learned from Arpita Venkatesh, she's my teacher, for since the I think till 2015. Then I moved to Bangalore.
Yes.
I was under Shamila Mukherjee for some time. Then I took a break because of health issues for my, and then Mayday also came in that time. So I like, if I'm taking a break, I have to be made
At least around.
exactly.
dance.
Otherwise, I'll go mad. So that was like Sone Pe Suhaga for me. When I'm taking a break, Mayday is also coming up, and he's okay, fine. This is the right time. I said, okay, fine. Because you cannot separate the artist or something. It's not that, it's very difficult. I have friends who are good dancers, singers, but they're into corporate jobs. So, and I'm not cut for corporate. Like, I used to work, then and one day I said I'm quitting. So my boss, my manager was like, "You are one crazy person." But then yes, I had a lot of support from my corporate companies, and they still talk to me and they say, when are you coming back to stage? What is this? They are very interested to know about the entire festival and theatres and what Mayday does and all that. So that's very rare. Not everybody have it. So yes, so that's how the entire thing happened. And as a dancer, see, there's no end to learning, right?
Definitely.
I mean, as any form of art form you take, there's no end to it. There's nothing like that. Okay, I've performed, for quite some time, or I've learned for quite. It's not like that, because if you stop learning, if you stop performing, you are not an artist anymore. So there's no end for my learning. I'm back to dancing after my break, and slowly everything is going back to the schedule. And yes, so that's how the journey is. It's plain and simple. Nothing. It's good. It's a good journey. Performed a lot of in a lot of big festivals in Konark Festival, Mukteshwar, Kalagoda, and all that. Performed there with Shamila ma'am. I went for international tours also. So yeah, that was good. It was a good journey. But now I'm in my own journey of finding and figuring it out if I can, get back on stage and do things, but slowly, but nothing like aggressively. I'm not a very aggressive person, so I like to take things slowly, because I have to run the space also.
Definitely,
I have to
yes.
be so I cannot just drop this and go back. So yes, trying to balance everything and then take it forward.
So talking about Mayday the stage, how did your association with Mayday begin?
So the founder of Mayday, B. Charles, I have been working with him. So when I used to be in Shamila Mukherjee's ensemble, he was the lighting designer. He was our lighting designer, because Charles is actually, by profession, he's a lighting designer.
Right.
And so that's how we met. And we used to do a lot of conversation about art and artists, because he has worked with a lot of big people and all that. And most importantly, he's worked with Akram Khan, who's my mentor. Like, I have never met him. I always keep telling, you have met Akram Khan. Please tell me about him. So that's the conversation that we used to have. And so he used to tell me about the lights and this thing. Then he told me one day, I think I still remember, we were on a tour for a show. And then he was telling me and discussing me and telling me, we are looking for, to open Mayday Bangalore.
Right.
I said, okay, fine, let's get on board, and what help you need, because he stays in Chennai.
Right.
So what help you need, you tell me what. So he said, right now I'm just looking for space. So okay, then Gautam, who's a co-founder of Mayday, we started talking over phone, and we both, me and Gautam, we started looking out for places and this everything, and then we found this. So this came up, and all of a sudden I got a call that we found space for Mayday. I said, okay, good, well and good. And yes, so that's how I got associated. Now, space is there, everything is there, but they need a person to run it.
Definitely.
So when he got to know that, I'm taking a break, he gave me an idea. If you're taking a break, you're going to miss the stage and everything. Why don't you come and, start taking care of Mayday? And because you're an artist, you know that angle pretty well.
Definitely.
And you were also in the team of, fortunately, I learned how to communicate with the artist and handling them and curate festival when I was with Sharmila ma'am. So yes, I'm very thankful for that. And so that knowledge I had, and it was given to me, and I slowly on the job, I learned it, because it's a bigger thing.
Definitely.
And then they told me that you just do whatever you feel like, just do it, that freedom you have, and do it, you will pick it up. So that's how the theaters and the shows, the dance and music, that's how slowly the curation started.
Right.
And that's how I got associated with Mayday. So yeah.
So now that you've been with Mayday for quite some time, what have been some of your learnings running the place? Because you would have come across a lot of performances in Mayday, you would have seen a lot of dancers. So as a person, what were some of your learnings, running the place?
So I've been in Mayday not for a long time. I've been with Mayday since it was a barren land. I mean, when the first brick was put in, I'm there from that day with Mayday.
Right.
So the learning part, if you think it's just more better into understanding what actually the art part needs, what is it missing.
Right.
Why it's a very sad thing to say, it's a very sad story that artists don't make money.
True.
So I think that is something that we sit and we figure it out, and we try to. And art industry, we don't make money. It's people think that it's artist prints money. No, we don't print money. It's so that's the biggest learning I think I had, is how to sustain this entire industry. How to because we all come from artist background.
Correct.
Okay, we are running a space. The idea of when I got onboarded on this idea, I still remember Charles telling me one day that Mayday was launched with the idea. It was in Chennai. It was launched during COVID time, when only 50% of audience was allowed.
Right.
So he opened his space just for the artist. So he is very clear that, and that is something that we all have in clear. This space has to be for the artist.
Definitely.
That's why the lights, the sound, whatever. If you see Mayday's light, sound, across all the 3 venues that we have, it's all high end, and you use it. You don't have to pay extra, right? And very few artists, I don't think so. Very few artists had to hire anything extra, except the entire lights and sound and everything. You take it. This is your space. You utilize it as you want it. Okay. So that was the idea, and that we maintain it. We try to maintain it. Okay. But we try to maintain it to a level where we are also not drowning. Right? Because if we have to give that freedom to the artist, that you take the space, make it your own, and do whatever you want, then we also have to do a certain level where we are also not drowning.
Correct.
So that was the biggest learning for me, because I have to balance both. I have to balance my artist. I have to balance the finance of the company. So that is something that we are always into discussion and learning, and it's like every day we are learning on that part. Okay, let's do this. Artist is also comfortable. We are also comfortable. So when it comes to me, when I joined, everybody was like, "You are an artist. You are an artist." Now it's like I'm trying to learn because I'm talking from a business perspective. I'm talking from an artist perspective. So I have to think both the ways.
Definitely.
So that's how the discussion goes. I said, see, this artist is talking about this thing. So let's make his or her life comfortable, but let's not, go into losses or go into completely trouble for us also.
Right.
That is the learning that we are still going. It's still happening. It's still happening because nothing happens over a night. So we're still learning to sustain what we started and still giving the space to the artist and to make it their own and do their work.
Definitely.
So that's the biggest learning that I had. And of course, see, apart from that, if you would say in talking to the artist and this thing and that is anyway, whoever comes and performs, you have to interact. You are they're coming to your space and all that. But I think for me, the biggest learning was this, that how do I maintain, how do I keep both everybody happy? How do I think from both perspective?
Right.
I cannot be a complete person who will be only thinking about making the money and not giving the artist satisfaction. So for me, that was the biggest learning, and I think I'm still learning. I hope I reach to that level where I can keep everybody happy.
So finally, what can we expect from Mayday in the coming months? Let's say specifically after Margari Festival is over.
So yes, I'm actually already in work. I'm actually this thing is so. We are doing a festival for during the Women's Week, Women's Month, during around 8th of March.
Right.
So that weekend, I'm doing 3 days festival.
Okay.
And it's already in process. One day will be music.
Okay.
One day theatre and one day dance.
Right.
So the entire theme, the curators, my co-curators who are actually helping me doing this, they're also women.
Lovely.
So that is the 3-day festival which is coming up. That's the process which is with Margali that is already going on. That it's already started.
Right.
So yes, so that is one. And apart from that, now my next step is something in dance. I have done Margali Festival. In theatre, we do Theatre Binge.
Correct.
But now my next step is to do something for music.
Music as well.
Yes, so that planning is also going on.
Okay.
That is on a planning stage right now. We are planning to do a jazz festival.
Oh, lovely.
But it's still in planning process. So we are talking to the artist and what to do and everything. Because any festival I do, I have to first think about the finances.
Definitely.
I cannot just jump in and do it. Right. Because I have to think how comfortable my artist will be who's coming and performing. Good. So that is one. Women's Week anyway is happening. So these two are next pipeline. And then we have small festivals that we normally do. Our men's monologue, women's monologue. Right. And then again, Theatre Binge, and then again, Margali Festival. So yeah, this is what is going on right now.
Lovely, lovely. So I wish you all the best, Preeti, for all your coming works.
Thank you so much.
And we do hope to see you back on stage soon.
Yes, I'm also hoping to go back to stage as soon as possible.
Lovely. So it was lovely having you. Thank you so much for conversing with us.
Thank you.
Lovely speaking to you, Preeti.
Thank you so much, Alvin. Thank you.